show. This audience is packed with best friends, some mom and daughters, best friends who've known each other forever, sisters who are best friends. And we're asking, do women really have each other's back? Now, it's complicated when there are different I say yes as well, thank you. But it can be complicated if you have different lifestyles. Say one friend's a mom, one friend's not. Or different religions. What about different races? So there are times when people will try to tear down our friendships, but how do we keep them intact? It's a big topic on social media. Take a look.
We're interracial best friends. Of course I had to tell her I wasn't Japanese, Chinese, or Korean. We're interracial best friends. Of course I can play in her hair and she can't touch mine.
We need to start categorizing friends the correct way. I think we're all getting confused here. I think we're confusing low-effort friendships as, like, good friends when they're just merely acquaintances.
As a woman, you have to be really careful when choosing your friends, because a lot of women like the aesthetic of friends, but they do not value friendship.
Friendships will only get harder, but the sooner you can let go of your ego and really learn to approach your friendships with love and grace and communication, the better off you are.
Tan Fam, our next guest, had complications within their friendships, both living different lifestyles. One is white, married with kids. The other is black and child-free by choice. But in their books, We Are Not Like Them, and You Were Always Mine, authors Christine Pride and Joe Piazza use their own lives to talk about something people don't often talk about, the challenges of friendships when you have different journeys. Christine is with us in studio. Joe is in Philly. Welcome to the show. Now, by the way, Tam Fam, here's the test of a true friendship. They were both supposed to be here, but Joe missed her train. So,
Freaking kids.
I love it, Joe. I love it. But that's a mark of a good friendship. We're laughing through the challenges because I'm sure it was nerve-wracking.
Yes, a lot of text this morning. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
And Joe, I'm sure as her friend, you don't want to disappoint. I had a friend just the other day call me. We missed a meeting, and she's like, "I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "It's okay. Things happen." Because when your friend is nervous, you're nervous. When your friend is hurt, you're hurt. When your friend is happy, you're supposed to be happy for them.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I feel worse about disappointing Christine this morning than I have ever felt about letting my husband down.
All is forgiven.
All is forgiven. Well, listen, we're all here, we're all together. So that's what counts. I'm so struck by this number. You know, I'm a journalist, 30 years, and my team always finds a good number for me to soak on. Pew Research, 63% of adults say all or most of their close friends are the same race or ethnicity as themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, mind blown.
I didn't realize that because we think about, in our workspaces, we meet different people, but oftentimes you're looking for the common thread.
Absolutely.
Your first book, We Are Not Like Them, is about friends Riley, who's a black TV journalist, and Jen, who's married and pregnant, a white woman. Jen's husband is involved in the shooting of an unarmed black boy, and Riley is assigned to cover. So this is the fictionalized version of what happens in lives when race collides. You baptism by fire, your friendship, because you're black, you're white, you're writing fiction, but you're coming in with your own perspectives.
And that's exactly why we wanted to write this book together, because Joe and I have completely different perspectives and experiences as a black woman and a white woman. And our novel would have been very different had I written it alone or Joe written it alone. But by writing it together, we could have these conversations in real life that then played out on the page, which definitely were not always easy.
One of the quotes from the book, from one of the characters, says, "Why did I have to bring up race? It never mattered between the two of us." That had to set off a conversation.
Oh, yeah. It's actually, that quote came after the conversation, the tear-filled conversation.
What happened in that conversation?
We had not talked about race at all. Joe and I were relatively new friends when we started writing this book together, and I think as an interracial friendship, it takes a while to have enough trust to broach these kind of difficult conversations, right?
Yeah. Joe, give me an example. Give me an example, Joe, of something that the moment where it was rough for you.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I have to say, we say a lot that we used to be like
yoga and manicure friends, but not like deep, really close friends. And when we started writing this book, we had no choice but to talk about the nitty-gritty of race. And I was just terrified. I was terrified of saying the wrong thing, of, being offensive, of sounding stupid. And so sometimes that made me just stop talking. It made me really quiet. And Christine took that as me not wanting to talk about this massive, huge thing that is.
Give me an example of something.
something.
Give me an example of something you were afraid to ask her or bring up.
I was really afraid to ask. We talk a lot about hair in the book.
And that came up in the...
What was frightening about hair? I love this. What was frightening about hair?
The girls' nicknames are Puff and Pony. Jen is Pony and Riley is Puff. It's a hair thing. And I was terrified about writing about Black women's hair. It felt like it wasn't my place. I thought I would screw it up. I thought I would write the wrong thing. And Christine was like, we have to be able to talk about all of this or our friendship is not going to continue.
Yeah. It's true. So Christine, from your perspective, it's interesting that the hair thing elicited a fear, that word fear. For you, what was the complicated? Because it would have been, I'm going to be honest, it would have been for me an unarmed Black kid shot and I had a friend once, it was a Trayvon Martin case, and she happened to be white, and she said something to the effect of, but what if it was something that was a complicated perspective that I did not appreciate. Yeah. And I understood it was from a place of her authentic feelings, but it triggered me in a different way because my nephew is Trayvon's age. My people, it hit different for me, I felt.
Totally. I mean, we've seen this. There's no room for nuance and complexities in these kind of conversations. And Joe and I have done a ton of book clubs with Black women, with white women, and that would come up a lot where, somebody says something, there's the one thing, that hits a little wrong, and that can blow up a friendship. And so part of what Joe and I had to really work through together was making sure that didn't happen.
Well, making sure you also feel safe, right?
Exactly.
You feel safe to ask the question, why can't I touch a Black woman's hair? 100%. And then I explain to you why, right?
Totally.
It's true. Because
but having the conversation in general, because one of the things I said to Joe early on, if we can't talk about race, then we can't take our friendship from a superficial level, to an intimate level.
I agree. Coming up, Christine and Joe are not going anywhere. Why? The fact that one of them is a mom and the other is not was more complicated than race. And an interfaith friendship. She's Muslim, she's Christian, but they pray together. Their story next. Welcome back. We are digging in deep this hour, talking to women about friendships, what makes a good friend, and how friendships, when you're living different lives, how you merge together. Co-authors who've been friends for 6 years, Christine Pride and Joe Piazza, who joins us from Skype, are back with us. And joining the conversation are a pair of interfaith friends, Christina Jordan, who's Christian, and Raja Pitts, who is Muslim. They say they've received hateful comments and criticism about their faith, but continue to support each other and even went viral for praying together in spite of what people had to say. Please welcome Christina and Raja to our show. First, this video that you posted, you were hiking together and praying. I think it's like over 11,000 views. And a lot of, I'm so struck by the fact that people felt the need to chime in. Take me to this moment, Raja.
That's me and my best friend. We were hiking and with no hiking shoes on.
That's okay.
That's me. Yeah, we were sliding around in rocks and everything, but it was a quiet hike, a reflection. We were both it kind of got quiet towards the end. And we both stood there and we both was like, we were both going through things at the time. And we always pray together anyway. So we said we're going to do a thing called grounding. Yeah. So we're going to pray together. And just sometimes you just need silence. Sometimes you don't have to discuss.
But in the moment, it was a statement about friendship, right?
Yes.
It was a statement about we can practice different faiths, but we can respect and love each other.
Yes.
What did it mean for you to put that on social media? Because you could have kept it private.
Right. Honestly, and one thing I want to talk about is we actually had no intention of just saying oh, we're going to make a video and, in hopes that this is going to get a lot of attention. This was our first time taking a video of us praying together because we pray all the time. But one thing that I've learned in my faith and through my journey is you're supposed to love everyone, support all of your friends, be there for each other. And so that's the biggest thing. And a lot of times, sometimes, you know, your friend can be going through something and that doesn't have to be spoken about. So something that we prayed about was, we said, well, specifically me, I know, I was like, I just want to pray for things that maybe my friend is not able to speak about at this time. So that was a big thing.
I know that you are supportive because we live in a world of judgment. Raja, I know a coworker, it's hard for me to read this, but you shared it with the team, so I'll repeat it. There was a coworker that commented on your hijab and said it looked like a cute watermelon. When something like that happens at work, you call your friend and say,
Yes.
you know, that's the moment you call or text your friend, girl, get on this phone right now.
Right.
Because I might lose my job. Right?
Yes.
You're tearing up because of it.
Yeah, I know. So that was hard for me because I can't believe I'm crying on camera. I told myself I wasn't gonna do this.
It's okay.
But thank you guys. Y'all are so supportive. But basically, it kind of, I felt disrespected too, because I feel like when you're disrespecting my friend, you're disrespecting me. And
That's how she took it.
Yeah.
When she made the comment, I just looked at her for a minute, and one of my other coworkers said, "Just go outside."
Right.
I said, "Okay," and I had called her, and she's on the phone. She's like, "I'll catch a flight down." I'm like, "Girl," I called you to calm me down.
Not get on the
Right,
flight.
yeah, like-
But that's the friendship, and I love that, you know, you respect each other's journeys, you respect each other's decision and what you choose to practice in your faith, but you have each other's back. And something I did not expect, Christine, in what you said about y'all's friendship with race, that the challenge of being on two different journeys of motherhood was more complicated than race. In what way?
Well, you know, anytime you have a friendship that, as you talked about, like a common ground, that's what we're all looking for in the beginning, and that's how we make these connections. But then our lives take on all these different twists, turns. Some people become mothers, some people, you know, have different faith journeys. People move across the country, right? So then it becomes this issue of when these complexities arise, being open about those kind of conversations. Sometimes it's just expressing your fear and saying, I'm scared things are going to change between us. Just voice the fear and take, you know, some
I'm
of
gonna
its
start
power
crying now
away.
with you over here. I mean, because you know, that girlfriend relationship, like Anjanu said, it is like a romantic chapter in our lives. And the best days I have in my life are when I call my friend and I tell them something happened and they're like, girl, I'm getting on that plane. You know, that's a friendship. Well, I love that you've all shared your story. Joe, we got to get you in person as well, too. Give it up for Christine, Joe, Christina, Raja, Christine and Joe's book, We Are Not Like Them and You Were Always Mine, are available where books are sold. And Tam Fam, you're going home with a copy of We Are Not Like Them.